One, Chair, Velile here from the national broadcaster, reaching the masses. Maybe just on this concept, the Mamelodi Sundowns soccer schools, also at a time when one of your neighbors, SuperSport United, ran it successfully and they are no longer there in the space now, and also maybe just the choice of starting it as well in terms of the venue and the area.
So I think it's very important to first of all say that, the whole purpose of Mamelodi Sundowns soccer schools was to continue the great work that had been done by Nick and Steph and the Global Soccer Schools team, as well as SuperSport United, Chairman Kulu Sibia and Stan Matthews and the rest of the management at SuperSport. We've always long admired and respected the work that they did in terms of helping young footballers progress through their system and find their way to the first team. And that was something that at Mamelodi Sundowns we have tried to replicate. We want to try and embrace and make sure that we can continue that pattern of seeing players go through the ranks of the soccer schools into the academies, find their ways to the first team, and then of course represent the national team. The reason why we chose this venue was because, well, first of all, it was close to the club. We wanted to make sure that our players could be here so that they could help support the initiative and give it the send-off that it deserves. But also, it's important that as we go forward, we want to make sure that we are at the various other launches that are going to be happening as we rebrand the soccer schools and make sure that the different franchises across the country get the same send-off and continues with the same message that we want to create. We're very excited about what we've started, but it's also about, like Nick said, it's a continuation. It's actually maybe just the beginning of something that we hope will be truly beneficial to South African football going forward.
Who's next? Who's next? Mahlatsi?
Just the significance of really in the future, seeing a significant number of players in the first team coming from youth development like this.
Yeah.
Because you are very, very much a buying club, but isn't it in conflict maybe in a way that you are, when you're buying, what about kids from here?
Yeah. I think what we take a lot of solace in the model that you'll see in football clubs across the world, big successful football clubs that also attract talented players to the club. I mean, clubs like Real Madrid, clubs like Barcelona, Manchester United, Arsenal, they are clubs that are motivated and have the resources to attract that talent, so they do buy the players, but you still see very talented players emerge from the ranks, right, from the academy. And the special thing is, you see it as the supporters of these clubs, that the supporters are so passionate and feel so much for players that come from the academy. They're one of our own. So for us, it's an imperative that we want to continue. We want to make sure that we find those talented players that are good enough to break into the first team. But on top of that also, like I said, not every child that comes and is part of these programs is going to finish in the first team. But what we do want to do is give as many children who are exposed to the programs, who love football, to get a closer contact with our club, with professional football, so we can ignite those dreams. Because who knows where they'll end up. But if they're close in the football ecosystem, they might find a way to contribute and actually be even more beneficial outside the pitch.
Any other question?
Chairman Lorenz from the Desky Times, we don't often get an opportunity to speak to you, so I'm going to have to ask you a club question. I apologize for that. But this season, you as the chairman and the club and the board, are you guys happy with the club's performances? About a year ago, we had a press conference where there was a clear message to say there will be changes if they see a noticeable dip in performances, which to the blind eye we see that. Are you guys happy with the technical team and how the club is progressing this season?
Thank you for that question. I think, Lorenz, out of respect, I must also just correct the statement. What I said was, we want to help improve the football. We said that we have a goal of achieving the Champions League and being successful in those competitions. I don't think we said if things dipped that we would fire the coach. So I just wanted to clarify that. But with that being said, the performance of the team this season, you have to look at it, I suppose, in context. If you look at it from a from an entire perspective, where are we in terms of our position in the league right now? Where were we in that position last year? We were first, we're still first. We've qualified for the quarterfinals of the Champions League, so that dream is still very much alive, and we're very excited to be competing in that competition. Again, if you look at from a global context, other clubs in this situation, if you put this club in a different league and you said, you're battling for a title, you're in the quarterfinals of the Champions League, I'm not sure if that would warrant, immediate or effective or drastic action. Are we excited, or are we completely happy with the performance of this season? We would have hoped to win a few trophies. Of course, our coach said that as well. He's wanted to win trophies. Our players started the season with the ambition to be completely successful. That's what we go out to do every single season. So it has been a bit disappointing in terms of the ups and downs in some moments, but what has made me incredibly proud is to see the resilience that the team has shown under that kind of pressure, under the kind of criticism that we have faced. And I think that's what's going to stand us in good stead. If you look back, it's 10 years since we won the Champions League, but when we did win the Champions League 10 years ago, it was a very difficult time for the club. That season was also one where we had our backs against the wall in certain moments. And at times as well in the Champions League, it even felt like hope had been lost. So I'm very hopeful, I'm very proud, and I'm very encouraged to see where the team is going and this change in character that we've seen in recent months at the start of this year.
Tabiso, you had a hand?
Tabiso from Football Stage. My question relates to the commercial model of GSSI, where there are fees paid to keep the schools sustainable and subscriptions from the franchises. Does that model change, and what commercial value does Mamelodi Sundowns derive from this partnership commercial? Thank you.
So from a commercial side, we got into this partnership not for the commercial opportunities or the promise that we see from a commercial standpoint. We got involved in this project because we see the incredible potential it has to increase and develop football in the country. We do understand that the model is one where it's almost pay to play, but something that I'm incredibly proud of the Global Soccer Schools, Nick and the leadership do, is that from the fees that they get from parents, a portion of that is actually used to give an opportunity to buy a space for players from communities that wouldn't get a chance to participate in the soccer schools program. And that is something that we're very proud to partner with. It's something that we as a football club want to see how we can contribute and elevate that more, because they've done so much and so well. And we would love to see how now we can bring these types of opportunities to other kids in the township, kids from communities that maybe are too far to find access to one of these facilities. So that's also a long-term goal of ours, and it's something that we see incredible value in, bringing the game to the masses and making sure that the good work that Nick and the team have done in terms of building that love for the game and the structures that they also have can be paired with the talented players that are in the townships.
Chairman,
So
maybe
it will be the last one. I know the follow-ups are always...
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
just as
Okay, there's another one here.
Yeah.
So the last two, I know they will be... Yeah.
just as a
Thank you.
follow-up, because I know that over the years you've been very supportive of that school and also benefited a lot from this. I think you've signed more than 20 players from School of Excellence in the last 5 years. How much of a push did you try to get into that space as well when it became clear that Transnet was giving it over, and also trying this concept of, as you say, these are franchises, we have these franchises around?
So the School of Excellence situation, out of respect, I think there's some things that are happening right now as well. So it would be safe and maybe more respectful not to get too deep involved in that. But I will say that our club has long been a supporter of the leadership of the School of Excellence, the players of the School of Excellence, and the whole project as a whole. When we found out the situation and the current situation that's happening right now, it's one that I'm sure all South African fans hope there's an opportunity for it to go the right way and that it finds a positive resolution. But right now our partnership and the process that we see and the progress that we see, it's obviously with global soccer schools. And we hope that the school will continue to develop and that the right investors come and assist them.
Chairman, can we take the last two? I know there's more hands, but we can only take the last two. You, and then out of respect, because we don't have ladies asking questions, you then we close it.
Sure.
Javelin from News 24. Chairman, I mean, there's been a section of your fans that have sort of openly called for the sacking of the coach, even paying placards. Does he still enjoy the support of you and your board? And what message would you say to those fans that have called for your sacking?
Well, I think as a football club, we hear the fans. We do hear the frustrations that they had felt at the time. And again, it's about empathy and understanding their circumstances. And then also sometimes it's also understanding the technical team and the coach's circumstances. The supporters come from a position where there's a lot of pressure on them from the outside world, from maybe supporters from other teams. Of course, it's the nature of competition. And so the pressure that they find themselves under sometimes when we're not performing to the standard that they would hope, those frustrations are voiced and we hear them. But we're a long-term club. We're a club that looks at a project in terms of its entirety. And our supporters have been with us for a very long time. And we also look at our coaches to say, well, we want to be with you for a long period so that we can achieve our targets. At this moment, we have a lot of support and a lot of faith in our coaching team and our coaches and the technical team. They've done a great job to keep the club together, or keep the team together really, and also focus on the task at hand and take us to where we are right now. So if there is a message I would say to the Sundowns supporters, it would be to say to those supporters that we saw at Loftus when we played against MC Algiers, thank you so much for the faith and the support that they show in the team. That match was a do or die match, and it would have been easy for people to not even come to the stadium or write us off. But they showed their support in terms of their numbers at the stadium, in terms of how they sang, how they stood by us, and they carried us from that game to the Crunch title competition on that Wednesday in FNB Stadium. And so long as we continue to stay together and support one another through the tough times, I think Mamelodi Sundowns will continue to make them very happy in the future.
Can we have the last one, please? Last.
Chairman,
Hello.
now that you have a school added to Mamelodi Sundowns, does that mean that this is going to be the first priority when you sign players, whether into the junior or the senior, before you go outsource other players to other schools?
I don't want to speak for the head of our academy, because I think when it comes to player recruitment and sourcing players, that's something that our head, Paulo Cardoso, as well as the wonderful recruiters that we have in our academy will continue to do. I will just say that we have scouts across the country, very dedicated scouts, and they've done a wonderful job of finding some of the players that we're so proud of right now. So, your Cassius Mailulas and your Mali Kozas, they are found from scouts. So it's not to say that certain players will take preference that come from a certain place. But again, I'll leave that to our head of academy to answer fully. But every player has a chance to play for Mamelodi Sundowns so long as they have the passion and the commitment.
Extra time?
Okay.
Because of the Puma shoes, yeah. Because of the Puma shoes.
Chairman, maybe just
Sure.
on a personal level,
Yeah.
how have you found this role, the highs and the lows and the challenges, and how much are you embraced it and are you enjoying it, doing what you do in the club?
Well, that's a very interesting question. It's been an education. It's been incredibly rewarding when you get to do things like this. See young kids and give them an opportunity to become closer to the game. I think we all were fans of the game at some point. We love this game so much, and so when I can do something like that, I see myself in players, young players like them. They've definitely been some moments this season, where you've had to learn a lot more about yourself and the people around you. And that's good. That's what tough times bring. And it's been a wonderful opportunity really to evolve and make sure that as we get further down the line, I improve. But it's always about respecting the position. And that's what I've tried to do from the beginning. When I stepped into the role, I was 32 years old. And the only thing I said to myself was, don't mess it up. And that's the message that I carry to this day, to make sure that we don't mess up things, but we continually improve and we respect the club as we found it and try to make it better. So yeah, it's been a very rewarding and revealing time in my life. But thank you for that question.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you.
No
Thank you,
penalties.
Motsepe Media. No penalties. No.